He knew that his long hair made him, well, basically bulletproof. Seriously. And what if it did? Then why would he cut it off? He served as the bodyguard to a prophet, was rumored to be part of a secret vigilante group, and was respected and deeply feared by his enemies. But one day, he cut his hair. Why did a man give up the one thing he thought would keep him alive? Why take a pair of scissors to a supposed divine shield? Today we get to the truth about Orrin Porter Rockwell, the dreaded enforcer with a hidden soft heart, and the sacrifice that revealed the true measure of his conviction to his friends and his faith. You don't have to share his beliefs to see something incredible in what he did. A man called Rockwell. Let's start with the basics. Orrin Porter Rockwell was born in 1813 in Massachusetts. But forget that for now. What matters is that he grew up just down the road from the Smith family, the same Joseph Smith who would found the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, often referred to as the Mormon Church. Now, before we go any further, let's be clear. The details we have come from the best sources we can find, and some of those are solid. Others, well, no one was exactly taking notes on Rockwell's life in real time, so while we've done our best to get it right, a few details might lean more toward frontier legend than fact. Porter was there from the beginning. Baptized on April 6, 1830, the very day the church was organized. He was all in, loyal to Joseph, fierce in his protection of the saints, and not exactly afraid to get his hands dirty. He was what you call frontier justice incarnate, the kind of guy you want on your side, and definitely not sitting behind you in church with a twitchy trigger finger. The scholars, historians, and critics disagree on whether he was a member of the Danites, a secretive group formed in 1838 to protect the saints from threats both outside and inside. Think of them as an early version of Neighborhood Watch, if the Neighborhood Watch was armed, unregulated, and not shy about using force. Rockwell was, most assuredly, a protector and a warrior for his faith and his friends. To his enemies, he was the stuff of real nightmares. To his friends, he was a guardian angel, just with more gunpowder and less harp. The prophecy and the hair. So here's where things get legendary. Christmas, 1842, a party, a prophecy. Joseph Smith, the prophet, reportedly told Rockwell, "I prophesy, in the name of the Lord, you, Orrin Porter Rockwell, so long as ye shall remain loyal and true to thy faith, need fear no enemy. Cut not thy hair, and no bullet or blade can harm thee." It was like a spiritual insurance policy, tied into a tangle of hair. No paperwork, no fine print, just don't get a haircut, and you'll live forever. From that moment on, Rockwell refused to cut it. Ever. Long, wild, untamed, his hair became a symbol, a testament to his faith, a threat to his enemies, and maybe, as prophesied by his friend Joseph, a source of heavenly protection. It certainly seemed to work. Rockwell survived shootouts, ambushes, arrests, walked away from things that should have left him dead. People started whispering, "He's invincible." He didn't argue. The Widow and the Wig. Fast forward to 1855. Rockwell is in California. He hears that Agnes Coolbirth Smith has fallen ill, typhoid fever. It took her strength, and as illnesses sometimes do, it took her hair. At that time, in that society, the loss of hair was true humiliation and shame. Agnes wasn't just any woman. She was the widow of Don Carlos Smith, the younger brother of the prophet Joseph Smith himself. She had since been remarried to a good man, but now she was sick, vulnerable, and living far from the main body of the saints. She didn't ask Rockwell for help, but he didn't wait for a request. He cut off his long, legendary hair, the same hair he'd guarded for over a decade, hair that was sacred to him, and sent it to be made into a wig for her. No announcement, no parade, just scissors, silence, and a quiet act of compassion, hoping that his martyred friend in heaven would understand. Somewhere, Samson probably rolled over in his grave. Once again, a guy gives up his hair for a woman. But come on, Samson, this was different. Fallout and faith. Now, did this break the prophecy? Had Orrin Porter Rockwell rebelled against God? Well, that depends on how you read it. Joseph never said, "Don't cut your hair." He said, "Cut not thy hair, and no bullet or blade can harm thee." In other words, stay faithful. Keep the hair, and you're untouchable. A conditional promise. Rockwell knew that. He understood what he was giving away, but he cut it anyway. Some say things changed for him after that. He drank more, grew more restless, faced harder times. Maybe he felt the protection was gone. Maybe the symbolism meant more than the hair ever did. Or maybe, just maybe, he didn't care. Because he made a choice to help someone else feel whole. He gave up something sacred of himself. That's not just brave. That's something else entirely. Legend and legacy. Porter Rockwell's legend didn't end with a haircut. He went on to serve as a lawman in the Utah Territory. He tracked criminals, he protected Brigham Young, and after being falsely imprisoned, walked hundreds of miles alone through a harsh winter to return to the saints. He never stopped showing up. And his epitaph? He was brave and loyal to his faith, true to the prophet Joseph Smith, a promise made him by the prophet through obedience. It was fulfilled. He died in 1878, still loyal, still feared, still somehow deeply human, the heart of a warrior. You don't have to believe in the prophecy to be moved by this story. A feared man, a holy promise, a single, quiet gesture. He didn't cut his hair for vanity or comfort or even practicality. He cut it because someone else needed it more than he did. And that's not weakness. That's strength with soul. So, here's an ounce. Sometimes real power isn't in what we keep. It's in what we're willing to give up for someone else's healing. And that's it. An ounce submitted for your consideration. If this story gave you something to think about, click like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And come back next week for another small story with a big punch. And if you're still here, go ahead, click another one. We've got ounces to spare. Thanks.